Hello and welcome to the Redvers Podcast, Episode 5, a World News Breakdown with Steve. On today's episode, we talk about Dr.Dre versus Dr.Dre, a trademark lawsuit between a famed rapper and a gynecologist, expensive pencil cases have been banned in a British school, and the rise in popularity of alien sex toys that lay eggs in people. Stick around.
This is the Redvers Podcast.
Well, hello once again. It is Redvers, aka Justin Gill, your host of the Redvers Podcast, and it is one hell of a beautiful afternoon here in England. I had every single intention of recording this afternoon on the 14th of May outdoors, but I kind of lost wind, I didn't lose wind, I didn't break wind or anything like that. Essentially, I worked a 10-hour day today, and after going to the town to grab some groceries, coming back home, I've lost all desire to go on a walk now, and I'm starving, and I have to make dinner. So instead, I'm sat in my bedroom, and I opened up the skylight so that the sounds of the birds and I was going to say other sounds of nature. It's basically just birds, because the only other sounds right now I can hear are traffic. I don't know if that's been picked up or not. But I would say that this has probably been the most beautiful day of the year so far. And unfortunately, I was stuck in a factory for the entirety of that day. But it's not all too bad because, I got to go for a walk to the shops and listen to the birds and enjoy the stunning views of the little town where I live. And that, by the way, is my watch, that thing that beeps. I noticed that it's been picked up now on a couple of podcasts. I continually forget to turn that bloody hourly alarm off. It's just such a handy little feature. I mean, this is a very cheap £13 watch. And apparently it's also a watch that's favourable in the use of bloody bomb making. I read an article of one of these on some tech website because of that hourly chime. Apparently, these Casio watches have been used in bombs. So when I bought one, I was like nervous that Secret Services would be tracking me. For basically no reason whatsoever other than the fact that I bought a popular watch amongst terrorists. So it's a beautiful day, but sadly the news that's breaking this afternoon is 52 people have been killed in Palestine so far in what I wouldn't describe as clashes on the border of Israel and Palestine, Israel and the Gaza Strip. It wouldn't appear to be clashes to me because, you've got one side of the fence there that are not as well armed as the most armed power in the Middle East, being, Israel. It's a very touchy subject with many people. A lot of people don't like to talk about it. Maybe due to the fear of being accused of anti-Semitism. I'm not concerned about that whatsoever. If people want to say that, well, whatever, it doesn't bother me. It's not being anti-Semitic when you feel sad for people who have been killed. To be honest with you, I spent all afternoon trying to figure out what to say. I felt like I had to say something, but I don't know if anything I've got to say is going to be sort of valid or, people on either side of the fence, so to speak, are not going to listen to anything I have to say and be like, you know what, he's right, because that's just never going to happen. The situation over there is obviously so God, so intense. It's so old. You know, it's just it's a disaster, really. And apparently the UN have called an emergency security council. Well, that's great. You know, the UN can sort of do whatever they want in terms of calling these little meetings that they have, but they don't seem to do anything, especially when it comes to the actions of Israel. They certainly didn't seem to do anything after the 2014 50-day war, in which I think over 2,000 Palestinians were killed. I could be incorrect with those figures. I haven't seen the UN report for some time. It certainly makes for some very interesting reading if anyone ever wants to track down the UN report that was done on the 50-day war. I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I didn't want to talk about it on the podcast, but I kind of just, you know, why avoid it? You know, it's something that's, I don't know, it's sad. I feel sorry for the people who have lost loved ones today because, and I also really feel sorry for the people who are on the other side of the fence, on the Israeli side, who have, I guess, pulled the trigger to sort of kill those people because, you know, they've killed people. I don't know what that feels like, you know. It must be a very difficult thing to deal with. And I guess I want to come from a place where I can sort of display, I don't know, I was going to say understanding for both sides, but I don't know if that would be the right thing to say. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert on the Middle East. I never will be. But we just continually see the state of Israel decimating, I guess, what is left of Gaza. The UN has stated that the Gaza Strip will be uninhabitable by 2020. And we are witnessing, I guess, the destruction of that area and the death of these people. And you can't seem to condemn it because you're just, you're lambasted. But anyway, look, that's enough of that. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it, really. So, on a lighter tone, let's talk about alien sex toys. Fucking hell. Steve-O and I sat down at his place on Saturday in the afternoon. We were going to do the recording at my house because the acoustics are a little bit better. His room is sort of larger and there's a bit more of an echo. I'm a bit of an audiophile freak when it comes to sort of, you know, trying to get sound right. But we sat down at his place and I'd locked myself out of my house, of course, because I've done that quite often throughout the entirety of my life. It's almost like I have to friggin' get a key grafted onto my skin somehow so I never lock myself out ever again. And yeah, it was an enjoyable episode. It's always fun sitting down with old Steve-O. You guys should subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Please do so. I'm going to continually be putting episodes out every single Tuesday. You'll be able to subscribe via iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, hopefully Spotify soon, Stitcher, and I've also just signed up for, I think it's called TuneIn. I could be wrong. I don't have the paperwork in front of me right now, but I signed up on the weekend. So if you own an Amazon Echo or a Google Home device, you know, these robot things that you can talk to so you can order pizza and all that stuff, or CIA spying devices, whichever way you look at it, you will soon be able to say, I think it's called Alexa. Is the Amazon Echo is called Alexa? You say, Alexa, play Redvers Podcast, and it will play the most recent podcast. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. I personally don't know many people who own one. I think the popularity of them's certainly more significant in the United States than it is in the UK at the moment. I'm not sure what it's like in Australia because I think Amazon's sort of only just picking up over there. I thought it was sort of going apeshit all around the world, but apparently not. So yeah, that's an interesting development. I'm excited about that because I think voice-activated tech is without a doubt the future. It's something that's going to be here to stay. I'm not necessarily going to be flying out to get one because at the moment I just live in a room, so I don't have many applications for an Alexa or whatever they are, Amazon Echo or Google Home. And I don't really eat pizza that often, so that's probably mainly what I'd use it for. Alexa, order me a pizza. Yeah, I could just walk down to the shops and do that myself. But anyway, folks, I've held you up for a little while. I'm looking out at the clouds. It's a lovely evening and I'm about to go downstairs and cook myself a bloody tofu stir fry. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode and I will catch you after.
Broadcasting live from HQ in London, this is the fucking World News Breakdown with Redvers and Steve.
And we are rolling and we're convened not at my place this afternoon because I am locked out of my house again.
How old are you?
34.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I have no idea where they are. They could be at my girlfriend's place. I'm hoping that they are, because if they're not, I've probably just left them at my place.
Is it just one key?
No.
Right.
Key to the front door, key to my room, key to the locker at work. And there's a skeleton key on there as well. The old school ones.
The old school ones?
Yeah, those skeleton keys, you know.
I don't know anything about skeleton keys.
Yeah, so we're at old Steve-O's pad, enjoying the artwork.
We're in the dungeon. That's where we are.
In the dungeon, yeah. The Fitzel dungeon. I hope not. If I go missing, I won't mention the name of your street.
Please don't.
Yeah, so this is another world news breakdown. We're probably going to try and steer clear of politics. I think we may have mentioned that in the last one because it doesn't need to be talked about.
It gets talked about too much, let's be honest about it.
Especially that little man in the United States. I guess we mentioned him on the last podcast, but...
We did.
Yeah, I guess...
Well, I'm only comparing hand sizes, that's all.
Yeah, and I did mention his height though, didn't I?
You did, 6'2".
Because I said that little man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's not that little after all. Unless you're 6'9" or something. Then he's fucking tiny. No.
But if he was 6'9", he'd say he was 6'9.5".
Yeah, that's true.
Because that conversation we had on Thursday night.
I wonder if there's any women that are 6'9".
Yes, Chinese basketball players.
That's right. Yeah, she's like 7 foot.
Right.
I think, yeah.
What size feet she's got?
Oh, probably like size 20 or something. I've seen one of Shaquille O'Neal's shoes. Size 21, I think they were.
Right.
It was at do you guys have Foot Locker in the UK? I think
probably,
so.
in London.
It's like an athletic shoe store. They sell like, Nike, blah, blah, blah. And they had one of his basketball shoes in the front window. And you could go in and like pick it up and stuff. It was massive. Like that, seriously.
No, it looks like you're holding a fish. But look, I mean, what comparison is a size to the English?
But
shoe?
hey, but wouldn't it be funny though? You said fishing. If people have caught shoes. Imagine you pull up a size 21.
6 pounder.
Because you'd say to people, "Oh, it was this big," and they'd be like, "Oh, rubbish." Yeah. Well, I don't know what the conversion is actually, because we use US shoe sizes. So I don't know what the conversion is US. Isn't it like just one size?
The biggest shoes at work are size 15.
Yeah, that's right.
Now you've got to look at, I think it's Denmark and Sweden are the men with the biggest feet in Europe.
Shit. Why that
But
is?
I mean, that size 15, we've joked before, haven't we, that we can actually get in it and paddle down the river.
Yeah.
So size 21.
Bloody hell. Yeah, so I mean, it was honestly insane. You thought, how the fuck is your foot that big? I mean, could you imagine him skiing?
Not really. Well, without skis.
Probably, yeah. You probably wouldn't need skis, would you?
Shoeboarding.
It's a new craze, kids. Yeah, so world news breakdown, and well, do you want me to put my hat in first?
Absolutely, mate. It worked last time.
Right, well, this article, I heard this news through the week, and it was kind of funny. Actually, I thought it was funny because, as I will now draw your attention to it, it's about Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre lost a trademark lawsuit through the week.
Against a doctor.
Yes.
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, whose name is spelt D-R-A-I.
Is he American?
Yes, he's American, and he's a gynecologist. So you've got Dr. Dre, obviously the gangster rapper, and then the gyno. Now, the trademark case is for the name, of course, Dr. Dre. And this guy's taken him to court. I think from 2015, Dr. Dre had sought the trademark. And so this guy took him up on it, and he's like, no, apparently he's a TV personality, like a health TV personality in the United States.
So it wasn't a pushover?
No, I guess he's no pushover, and he obviously had the money to pursue the case. And essentially it came down to the fact that he lost because Dr. Dre, as in the rapper, was arguing that, the other Dr. Dre sort of doesn't deserve the trademark because his business is private. It's not like he's not in the public eye. You know?
But
so he's
Dr. Dre is not actually a Dr. Dre, whereas Dr. Dre is a
Is a
Dr. Dre.
doctor.
So
Yeah, I'm not sure if the PhD sort of gave more weight during the case.
I don't know, mate. It'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Imagine that, like, they literally said, look, we're going to have to use the scales of justice to determine this one. So they weighed his PhD versus what of Dr. Dre's.
He's worth a bob or two, though, isn't he?
He's
Let's
worth
be honest
over $1
about
billion
it.
now, isn't he?
Is he?
They sold Beats by Dre, I think, to Apple for like, was it $2 billion or something like that?
So he's quite a wealthy fellow.
He is an exceptionally wealthy man.
Self-made.
Yeah. Yeah.
God bless America.
Are you a fan of...
What, self-made billionaires? Yeah.
No, rappers, like... well, not rappers in general. It's not like... I mean, your sense of style doesn't reflect one of those who may have grown up in the hood. Let's put it that way.
Do I like old school rap music?
I guess you do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What were your mainstays?
NWA,
Yeah.
Ice-T, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre.
Oh, nice. So I hope you're not familiar with the Dr. Dre gynecologist.
No. We haven't crossed paths.
Let's hope you never cross stirrups. Well, I guess the next little news piece I came up with... now this is an interesting one. I've got here in the notes for today's podcast, just to jog my brain, I wrote down Disney fuck suit. Now, I hope that doesn't get us in some sort of lawsuit.
No, because you pronounced it all as one word.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the spelling would be different, so we can't be done for that. Now, this is via The Verge news outlet.
The Verge.
The Verge, yeah.
V-E-R-G-E.
Yeah. As in, hey, yield off The Verge.
It's nothing to do with gardening.
No.
Right.
No, unfortunately. But...
American again?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is American. But this headline says, Disney made a jacket to simulate physical experiences like a snake slithering across your body. Now, this suit has multiple sort of little bags inside of it that fill with air to so like if a snake's going across your body, the bags will fill, I would assume, like from your right shoulder sort of down to your stomach. So they'll like slightly inflate.
So you're gonna go and tell somebody that you've had a pretend snake go across your body?
I don't know if I'd be telling anyone, to be honest with you.
if you want to go and have a snake,
Just go get a snake.
Go and get a snake.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing I was thinking with this. It's bizarre that they've used that as an example because...
People are terrified of snakes.
Well, they're shit scared of snakes for a start. I mean, coming from Australia, I mean, any foreign person I ever meet, the first thing they usually talk about is fucking snakes.
Did I?
No. Spiders. I think you brought
No.
up first.
I apologise for the state of the music on Radio 1.
Yeah. Well, I can't understand the snake reference because unless you had a snake go across your body...
So you're being told that this is a sensation rather than actually feeling it for yourself?
Yeah. So after using this dumb suit, you still wouldn't know what it feels like to have a snake slither across you.
No.
So, I mean, it wouldn't fill you with confidence if you were going camping in, like, Colorado.
Colorado?
And, like, you know, a rattlesnake. It's like, all right, it's cool. Don't worry about the snakes. I've had one virtually go across my stomach.
It seems to be a mad idea. It'll probably make them a lot of money. That's all they're interested in.
I can assume that it bloody will.
You'd probably have it and you'd probably put that air pocket across your testicles.
Well, that is the reason for the words that I used to note this, to jog my memory, Disney fucksuit. Because the first thing I thought within about 15 seconds of reading this was, you're going to get some perverted fella fashion this into a little pair of knickers for himself. He'll put that on, and then he'll be able to virtually get done over by, like, you know, his favourite
everything's
Disney princess.
virtual nowadays. Like, nobody else exists. You have to have virtual this and virtual that. I'd rather have real things.
Yeah, virtual snakes, virtual bloody, you know, someone groping your testicles.
Virtually.
Yeah. I mean, the mind boggles what you could do with this suit.
It doesn't boggle. It's all just, I'm not interested.
You could have some, like, sadists or, like, people into BDSM even wear it like some form of bag over their head and sort of have stimulated, you know, choking.
I don't know where your mind's going with this one.
Because would you have to attach, like, a microphone to it to even have your own virtual safety word?
Stop thinking of these stuff things. A virtual safety word.
God, yeah. Because, I mean, you wouldn't want to do that in front of someone, would you? It's like, oh, just give me 15 minutes. I'm just going to put this fucking thing on my face.
Technically, you'd have to have a headset inside this with somebody on the other end. So when you say virtual safety word...
something. Yeah. Exactly. See, the suit would almost have to be AI.
It's a business industry, is this?
It's huge. Now, this is a nice little way of segueing, I guess, into the next one, because it's to do with virtual reality. And when I think about virtual reality, I think about robots. Now, this is interesting.
It's not a sex robot, is it?
It's not a sex robot, but I guess it's got sexual connotations, depending on whether or not you find robots attractive. Because there's a new Lost in Space TV program which has started on Netflix, and it's like a remake essentially of Lost in Space.
Did you ever see the original?
I did, yeah.
It was a bit camp.
I didn't like it.
No.
Oh, the little robot.
All of it.
Well, apparently there's a character in this who is a robot, and it kind of looks like a cyber ninja or some shit. I mean, I'll hold this up so you can see it.
Right.
See, and what we're looking at, for anyone who's not obviously seeing this because you're not present in the room and this isn't being filmed, it looks like, just picture some sort of samurai / ninja, but then on their back someone's put a couple of blades on their spine for some reason. I don't know what they're supposed to represent. Maybe he curls into a ball or something and goes tumbling down the street.
Maybe.
Well, on social media, people were stating that the robot had a great ass. And then a bunch of people were, like, commenting that. This is one example. This is from someone on Twitter who said, "Good morning to the Lost in Space robot's butt and no one else." It's like...
Maybe it was an AI getting in touch.
Well, and it's, yeah, you know, it was someone from the future.
No, I wasn't meaning that, because they're using it. It's a lot, aren't they, on the internet?
Oh, bots, like bots that are tweeting and stuff like that, propaganda and such. And here's another tweet that someone wrote. "There's literally no reason the Lost in Space robot should have an ass that nice. This was intentional."
Is this again? I've got to keep an eye in back, man. Is this in America?
Yes. Of course.
There must be a hell of a lot of people in America that don't really have much of a life. And that sounds like a shitty Netflix remake as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Netflix. I do enjoy Netflix quite often, but I'm not going to watch this Lost in Space remake.
Lost in Space the original, and you got Lost in Space, the Matt LeBlanc real turkey of a film, and
You're
then
kidding.
you've got
He
this,
did
haven't
another
you?
remake of that.
Yeah.
That is an absolute train wreck. Have you ever watched it?
No. I've only ever read things.
Yeah, true. Okay. Scripts. You're a big script reader. Oh, yeah, and well, here's another tweet, which is a bit weird. I just called the Lost in Space robot sexy, and my poor dad gave me such a sad/disappointed look, laughing my ass off.
It's just, all these people are doing is looking for reaction, just.
They
No
are.
more than that, mate.
I guess.
It's a bit sad.
Well, it's a bit weird. It's not weird. People can be attracted to whatever they want, but a robot's ass. If we're talking about virtual reality, like, you're never going to meet a robot like at a bar and be like, hey, great ass. At least not in our lifetime.
Just trying to imagine, this person in front of you isn't real.
Yeah, no, not at all. Well, this is another thing. We have mentioned this, and I guess it carries on from virtual reality, robots, aliens, and there is a space theme. So this got my memory going, and I was recalling seeing something on the internet, on Vice, I think it was. I don't have the Vice article or video in front of me, but the rise in popularity of these alien egg-laying dildos.
No.
They've gone through the roof. Yeah.
In America?
I would assume worldwide. It's an internet.
You would assume worldwide.
It's an internet business.
Tonight, the first woman that I get talking to, I'm going to ask her on your behalf.
That might not be appropriate. It's called the ovipositor because I would assume that that's like a mixture between the word ovary and depositor. I don't know, maybe that's just my head.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they can't make them quick enough. They're just selling like hotcakes. Male and female people are using them.
It just sounds like an absolute marketing ploy.
Well, I think it is. And looking at the things, they look terrifying.
I don't need to see a picture.
No, I won't. You'll be shocked. You'll fall off the couch there.
Oh, no.
But essentially they look phallic, but they lay eggs inside people. And I don't know if that's like the point where they get off, or...
I can see comparisons here to that radio show that I love listening to, that recording of that Armageddon. You know what I mean? If they put it in the other inappropriate hole, they may not be able to retrieve it.
Well, yeah, this is a little bizarre, but... And I was thinking, well, what is this about? What about this would be attractive to people? It certainly doesn't do anything for me. The thought of it's just too weird. Are you supposed to be fantasising that you're going to get taken by aliens, and then you're sort of being impregnated, and now you're going to usher in like a new race?
People just tick on differing levels, don't they? It's quite mind-boggling.
Oh, isn't it what? Well, they're the articles that I have so far, until we mention the new segment at the end of this. So what would you like to share with us today?
What, that thing that I read about yesterday?
Aye.
It was an article. School bans pencil cases to stop pupils from poorer families being stigmatised.
Right. I don't even know what that really... What? They're not allowed to buy pencils.
They're not allowed to buy pencil cases that are too posh, that are too expensive, because it's making the poorer families stigmatised. Now, we talked on episode 2 about parents taking over the children's life absolutely completely.
Yeah.
So if you're going to stop them from having pencil cases, what's next? Trainers, watches, headphones,
anything.
Phones.
Yeah.
So you go to school taking your young lad with you in your Jaguar, you'll get banned.
Well,
Because it's too, you're traumatising people who can't afford a Jaguar.
yeah. And we should just state for the record that I don't have a son or a Jaguar.
You do?
Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Oh.
I certainly am not aware of a bloody Jaguar, that's for sure.
You wouldn't drive it anyway.
No, I wouldn't.
But this was a primary school.
Yeah, right.
Primary school.
In England.
Up in Northumberland, believe it or not. And the Northerners are normally quite generous, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're nice people. That's bizarre. I mean, what the hell is an expensive pencil case?
I was still under the impression, because I'm old school,
Right.
that the majority of primary schools nowadays
Yeah.
have uniforms.
Yeah.
So you buy the uniform, and when you buy the uniform, you buy the bag and you buy the pencil case.
Right.
But do you have to bring in new rules now where, say you come into school with a new pencil case and it's not the correct one, but you want it to be a little bit different, do you get sent home? And then who gets stigmatised? The richer person.
Yeah.
All I'm saying to you is where does it stop?
I mean, I wonder if they have to now hire like a pencil case monitor.
Well, it's a job, you see. You're creating jobs, aren't you? What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to tell you.
Well, it's like, it would be like in America, how some high schools have metal detectors. Maybe the children will have to start going through and showing their pencil cases. That's like, pencil case.
But as I say to you, it's complete and utter regulation.
It's bizarre.
And this is for children. And also, it's St. Wilfrid's was among more than 100 schools, right, in a project to stop poorer people being stigmatised. So what's the other 100 things they're thinking of doing?
Oh, God. Well, I mean, the mind boggles. There could be a lot of things. Lunch. What if you bring in like what is maybe considered to be a poor lunch, as opposed to a rich lunch?
I don't know. Do people look at what you're eating and ridicule you? You've got luncheon meat on them sandwiches.
No, not that I recall. I mean, we never used to ridicule people because it was like, dickhead, you got a tuna sandwich or...
When I was at primary school, under the age, because it's up to the age of 11,
yeah,
it was. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a gentle time, but you weren't constantly taking the piss out of people, and you didn't think of anybody else as being poorer than you were.
No, I never used to think of that. I don't think that sort of social status system or class is like...
But it is amongst the parents.
It is amongst the parents, without a doubt. But yeah, you never had kids at school, not that I recall, going, oh, that guy's poor, and like kicking them in the shins. And
No, you didn't.
bringing in caviar.
I remember getting apples for Christmas.
Apples for Christmas?
Because we were poor.
Yeah, right.
But an apple at Christmas time was marvellous.
Yeah, was it Pink Lady or...
A what? A pink lady?
Yeah, the apple, Pink
Never
Lady.
heard of it before.
You're kidding?
No.
When was the last time you bought apples?
When was that time I looked at the names of the apples?
Yeah, shit. No, Pink Ladies, they're nice. They're very sweet. Not really meant for cooking, but...
Cooking apples are for cooking.
Yeah. I mean, I have eaten a cooking apple on the occasion, and...
I thought they were meant to give you indigestion.
Well, they're certainly more bitter than your average bloody apple. I think that's the intention, because they sweeten up, of course.
The 18 pounds of sugar.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to talk about cooking on here because you've got cooking shows which are so fucking popular. It's like, even if someone walked past here right now and we stopped them and said, excuse me, what are the ingredients for a souffle? They'd be able to rattle them off, I guarantee it.
Don't look at me, I'm not walking past my own flat. But if you asked me dad, he wouldn't know either.
Yeah.
A souffle? What the hell's a souffle? No, he wouldn't know.
Yeah. They're French, aren't they? Yeah, expensive pencil cases. I mean, I remember when I was at school, we would have, maybe it's because of the Australian influence, it was like people would have like surfing brand or like skating brand bloody pencil cases.
You do try and paint the Australians as being cool. You really do. We used to have branded stuff. Oh, look, so where does it stop? When is something deemed too expensive for somebody else? And why at such a young age?
Yeah. I mean, it could be sort of entrenching adult psychology into a child.
It really is just.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Like Peter Rabbit and the Blueberries.
Yeah, getting smashed with blueberries when you're allergic to them. But it kind of reminds me, for some reason, I'm getting the image in my head of The Wall. Did you ever see the movie The Wall by Pink Floyd?
No, but it was a number one, so the video was on for about 10 or 11 weeks.
Well, that's it, yeah. It's like, the Dickens stuff.
The Dickens stuff?
Yeah. Dickensian. I think I actually have said the word Dickensian on this bloody podcast before, so if this takes off, people will be like, oh, that bastard always uses that word Dickensian.
I would just describe your hairstyle as Dickensian.
Yeah. Well, brill cream, or like the ash and soot.
The ash and soot.
Yeah, but that Dickensian thing, where all the kids are like just grey and the bloody school uniforms are drab colours and...
But I must admit, this is how life is starting to feel.
Yeah.
You're not going to see in colour anymore, you're going to see in black and white.
But England, I think as an outsider from England, I guess, when you would say describe England to someone, well, if you said to someone describe England in colour, you're not going to end up with like the brighter colours of the spectrum. No. I wouldn't think. I would use grey.
I would use one word. I know it's not coloured.
Brown?
Miserable.
Yeah, brown. Shit brown for miserable. But see, grey is perfect for that.
But
drab.
This place is called the Old Grey Town.
Is it?
AULD, yeah.
Is that... Do you reckon that derives from like the smog from the industrial...
No.
It's just the...
Just the people.
Just the people, yeah. We are recording this today, not where we usually record it. In case there's a fucking lynch mob waiting for us tonight.
No, I just meant it's as a society we're going back to being black and white, and I know that's a dangerous thing to say because it looks like I'm being racist when I'm not.
But you're not intending. You don't mean like skin colour, yeah. No, well, the class system is well and truly still in existence in this country, without a doubt. Being Australian, I think there is a form of class system.
Is there one obvious one in Australia? There must be. There must be an obvious class system everywhere in the world.
Yeah, I don't think it's as obvious as England. No. And over here, you've got those tenement houses in rows and stuff like that. You get on the train and go down to Manchester, and between here and Manchester, you see those little towns that are just completely dotted with the tenement houses, and it's like, whoa, that's crazy.
But they're still there, aren't they? They've been there for such a long time.
Yeah. I don't know if they warm anyone's heart when they look at them, unless you sort of grow up in one with a really happy family. But in terms of the architecture, I don't know, it's kind of bizarre.
It's almost like you're going into a prison.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me, it's almost like communist sort of style.
Black and white society.
Yeah. Or red.
No. Not yet, anyway. Something we'll have to cover on the next one is the amount of people in prison at the moment. It's quite frightening how much it's gone up percentage-wise over the last few years.
Wasn't it 85%?
I think it was 80. I don't like to disagree, but I think it was 82%.
82, yeah, no, because that was on Question Time, wasn't it? Yeah. I saw a snippet of that, and that young fella he had an interesting point of view, especially with the uptake.
But he was, I would say, at least 20 years younger than the youngest other person on the panel. Yeah. And he had a different perspective on life and what was going on than the establishment did. Because the establishment are out of touch now with the younger people.
Oh, well, it's so telling, isn't it? Like, when you look at England, I think that's one of the biggest issues, really, in terms of the politics, is the divide between, say, the Conservatives and what could be pictured as an average, say, Labour supporter or Green supporter is age, without a doubt, class, colour, and the Conservatives are just...
Do you not think, though, you're a child, you have a parent, you respect the parent, and as you get older, your standing is slightly above your parents because you've got, obviously, age on your side. But this government, these governments... are never taken over by anybody who thinks differently, anybody that's younger. And there has to be people like this in Great Britain.
There is. I think it's supremely well represented. And I guess, it's not a good example, really, but I'll use him anyway. Say Jeremy Corbyn. He's of that age. He's in his 70s, isn't he? He's like 72. But he obviously doesn't share those more conservative beliefs, of course. I mean, he's the Labour Party leader. But he has not opinions, but like beliefs and stuff that really call to younger people. But that is because younger people generally are more liberal. People become more conservative with age. But I'd like to think that when I was in my 60s or 70s, I'm not going to be as conservative as someone that might typically vote for the Conservative Party. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
It's like
I do know what you mean, Just, but
it's like
the country is evolving so quickly.
Yeah.
Over the last 30 years especially, things have changed fundamentally. Facebook, you know. So rules that were once in place for a reason, some of them no longer are relevant or current.
No, they don't exist.
And nothing it seems to change.
Yeah, they shouldn't exist. It's like the Queen here owns all the swans, doesn't she?
She does.
And if you steal one or you kill one, that you're supposed to be beheaded or something.
Is it still as drastic as that?
I thought it was,
Right.
yeah. Something like that. Either that or you get like prison time or something.
Well, that swan that we ate last Sunday was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. And we won't mention where we ate that because it was at a local establishment.
It certainly was. Every Sunday, roast swan.
Let's put some disinformation out there. Fake news, as people call it.
You mentioned the word Dickensian, and I just think draconian.
Yeah, Dickensian, draconian.
Yeah, you
Dickensian,
say.
Yeah. We could write a bloody musical about that. Dickensian, draconian. They're kind of basically the same thing, really. But I feel like the word draconian to me is a little more brown than grey and black.
I don't know. I think I say Dickensian and draconian. Dickensian's a younger word than draconian.
Dickensian's a younger word, but no, historically draconian. He's Greek, isn't he? He came from quite a long time ago. Dickensian, he was, well, turn of the century, wasn't he? So you're wrong there, buddy.
No, I still think I'm right.
Oh, God. Well, what are we at here? 31 minutes. Have you got anything else?
31 minutes. Why have you run out of things to say? You never run out of things to say.
Me? Run out of things?
Exactly.
No, I've usually always got something to say about something.
About something.
Yeah. Music.
Go on, have a go at music, Just.
Well, we're off to see a gig.
We certainly are. We're going to see the Lovely Eggs tonight at the brewery. We saw the Lovely Eggs last November when we went to see Kate Le Bon. They weren't playing. They were actually just there watching. I did tell Justin, but he's got a memory like a sieve.
I do have a memory like a sieve.
Hence the keys.
Hence the keys, hence many things, really, sadly. I'm not sure why that is. And it's not sort of out of want to come across as sort of being aloof and forgetful, because I'm...
Both.
Well, I'm probably not aloof, am I?
Well, I get called aloof.
Do you?
Yeah.
God.
I can't understand why. Oh.
Well, actually, no, that's... we can talk about this new segment that we're planning on doing at the end of these world news breakdowns. And I came upon the idea for doing this, and we've named it, before I go into how I came upon this, we've named it The Bed of Whispers. And the reason behind that is because I was reading about someone's morning routines. Like, a lot of people have morning routines, and especially successful people usually have very sort of strategic days where they,
Plan everything.
So I guess they're more efficient that way. That's just how it works. But
I don't know that I'll be doing any writing next week. I'll be up at 4:30 every morning.
what the hell do you have to get up at 4:30 for?
What do you mean?
You only live bloody 5 metres away from...
It takes me ages to wake up in the morning.
No, you're one of those people.
It never used to. I used to be seriously,
Yeah.
20 to 6,
Yeah.
wash,
Yeah.
dressed, away. But since I've been doing these lates, no.
Yeah. I guess it's going to take your circadian rhythms a while to sort of kick over.
I'm only doing it for a week,
change.
then I'm back on lates again.
Oh.
It's like torture, it is.
Yeah, it's going to be torture. God. What's the radio station next week? It better be
I've got
good.
a horrible feeling that it's smooth.
Oh, Smooth. I thought you were going to say Radio
No.
1. That would be a nightmare.
I mean, I'm using all my holidays up. Every 3 weeks, I've got to take a week off so I don't have to listen to Radio 1.
Yeah, God. Anyway, enough slandering Radio 1.
We're not slandering.
No, I'm kidding. Imagine we were asked on to Radio 1. Would you go? I wouldn't go. No way. I would delight in the fact that
I would go and I'd ask them why they are playing the same 11 songs every day.
Oh, well, getting back to the news segment, which will be called The Bed of Whispers, I was looking at the morning routine of a fairly famous guy, author, podcaster, and investor. His name's Tim Ferriss.
Nationality?
American. People who are into podcasts would know his name probably because his
Are you
podcast
calling me
is huge.
ignorant?
Yeah,
I thought as much.
with quite a veiled attempt.
No, you don't need to.
Well, Tim Ferriss has a pretty interesting morning routine that involves one of two riding techniques, I guess. He never does the two on the same day. So,
Why? What happens if he does?
well, it's just one or the other, I
Right.
guess. And one of them is where he uses a journal. And the technique has been adapted from a book called Morning Pages. The Artist's Way. And it's called Morning Pages, where you wake up and basically write down your anxieties and but things that you're sort of grateful for as well, I guess. You're sort of just unloading your mind.
So I'd wake up in the morning and my anxiety would be, I've not had enough sleep.
No,
Anxieties in the morning, I've got to go to work.
No, but see, this is the thing. I want to adapt it. I don't want to do this method because no one needs to know about our anxieties, especially mine, because I'm so low in neuroticism
Is that right?
that I basically don't have any. So that would be boring. But no, I thought what we could do is, so Steve and I are going to just write, just unleash sort of whatever's in your mind. For no longer than 5 minutes.
That means I'd have to get up at 4:25 now.
Well, you've got to freaking work at this because the potential for it to be
It's just training your brain, that's
either
all.
funny or potentially horrifying. I guess we'll be collecting, say, 2 weeks worth, and we'll probably pick the most uncensored.
Uncensored?
Or
No,
the
I
one,
don't know about that.
or the one that, not uncensored, sorry, the one that's sort of more liable to not be censored.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Because I'm interested to see what could just possibly come out. But I can't sort of wrap my head around the idea of not using a filter whilst you're writing.
Oh, well, I mean, you'd probably have to read this book to find out how you get rid of your filter, wouldn't you? But
Yeah.
you've got a filter on. You've really got to be somebody not to have a filter on your thoughts.
Well, see, this leads me into automatic writing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, that's a writing method that's been used by several people, even some pretty notable musicians and stuff, to write lyrics.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking is a great example. They reckon his entire book, his famous book was automatic.
Of course it was. He didn't write it. He's bassed himself, did he?
Oh, God. Now, I did a little bit of research on automatic writing. I have looked up automatic writing before, but I just wanted to refresh my mind. And I happened upon this interesting website called Bible Knowledge. And I thought, all right, let's see what they've got to say. And it said the dangers of automatic writing.
Hasn't it been linked with the devil? Haven't
Well,
people got into sort of trances and then they've tried to take some sort of lucidity from the nonsense that they've written?
Well, it says here, automatic writing is another tool used in the occult to make direct contact with real, live, demonic spirits. The practitioners of this dark occult art feel they are making direct contact with helpful and benevolent spirits. But as the testimony I will give you below will show, there is no such thing as a benevolent demonic spirit.
I think we'll have to look up the word benevolent to be perfectly honest with you.
Benevolent.
Just.
Well,
But you could make it. You could have a funny skit out of that, couldn't you? If all we ever did was write down occult things that we said in the morning.
well, I thought, Jesus, I mean, it could be quite funny if we suddenly become, hugely attracted to this dark art.
But would we be aligning ourselves with something that's nonsense?
With something demonic or nonsense? No, see, but what we're going to be doing, I guess, isn't automatic writing. It's not like going to be sort of a trance state. It's just going to be more of an unloading of thought, I guess, because there's a willful process in what we're going to do. You know what I mean? It won't just be like, and now, pen, will you write for me? Is that what they do? I mean, I don't understand what the process of automatic writing could possibly be.
It's where a computer writes when you talk into it. Automatic writing.
Oh, I wish it was that easy.
No, but I don't think... I'll have to check now. I'll have to wake up tomorrow morning and think, have I got a lot to say? Have I thought about loads of things whilst I've been asleep?
Yeah. Well, see, my morning routine at the moment consists of... That's if I get up.
Like today, for instance.
Yeah. I didn't go to work today because I forgot to turn the charger on. It's a Saturday, so it was voluntary. So I don't want people thinking I'm lazy.
It's not voluntary, is it?
Yeah, it was. I could have... you didn't have to go.
Yeah, but you don't volunteer to go to work.
But on a Saturday you do.
Please, can I come into work on a Saturday?
The extra incentive is...
Just being paid.
Yeah, paid. Maybe, well, let's not get into pay. That's a little bone of contention. I don't want to automatically write with speech what I'm thinking in my head.
I want that virtual thing to go around my throat now.
Oh, well, I think it's going to be an interesting process. So we will read out our little scribbles from the bed of whispers every fortnight now. I'm interested to see what comes out, but my morning routine at the moment consists of, first thing I do is I get up, drink a lot of water, like 2 little bowls of water.
That's the second thing. Tell me what the first thing is, really. Do you want... I know what it is.
Right.
You get up and you look in the mirror straight away.
No, it's too dark. No, I certainly don't. But
2 glasses of water then.
Yeah, well, 2
So you're
sort of bowls of
hydrating
water.
yourself straight away.
And it feels amazing. It makes a noticeable difference. And I actually find that it sort of makes me feel more alert, like a bit more awake.
How many times have you been late for work this year?
Ooh.
Even if it was just by a minute because it was noted.
This year, I would say maybe twice.
Maybe twice.
Yeah.
I'll check on Monday.
Yeah. They would have that recorded somewhere, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I'm interested as well. Last year, let's not get into last year.
No,
or the year
no,
before
you
that.
nearly got binned off.
No. They need me. Yeah, but then I do a little meditation. At the moment, I'm only meditating for 20 minutes. I know in episode 4, the podcast that we did, that I did with Maddie Green, I said at the time that I wasn't meditating. That was recorded a little bit earlier this year when I wasn't meditating, and now I am. 20 minutes, and it really does set the tone for the entire day.
I was amazed when you picked that marble off the floor with your buttocks the other week. I was so like, just man, do it again.
Meditation or yoga? Which one are you?
Just yoga.
Because, I thought maybe you were alluding to the fact that meditation could give me mind powers where I could pick things up with my mind. That'd be bloody convenient.
Pick it up with your mind?
Yeah.
Right.
Like make your packet of fags over there just levitate by looking at them and thinking about it.
You just mentioned cigarettes. Dad doesn't even know I smoke.
You what?
My dad doesn't even know I smoke.
Oh, bullshit. Yeah, no, so the Bed of Whispers. And I'm going to make a little musical intro to that, like, the Bed of Whispers. Something like that.
I'll tell you one decent theme tune, but you could put it on Tales of the Unexpected. It's an old one now, but the theme to it was quite marvellous.
I don't think, in terms of theme music, for me in television programs, the original Doctor Who with the theremin.
Well, listen to them on Six Music, that orchestra, and they were absolutely wonderful live.
Yeah. What did they do the theme song to? Were they using a theremin or? Oh yeah.
They were just. What about The Prisoner?
I never
Patrick
watched.
McGowan. You know, so
No.
60s was an absolute peak for
Oh,
for
it was,
writing
yeah, shit.
music.
Bridge over the River Kwai.
I've seen it, but I don't recall the music.
Oh, hang on, no. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. Right. I'll have to watch it.
No, I can't remember. I just, there might have been a trademark on the melody that I just did there, so we might end up getting sued by Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, the gynecologist, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't want that to be your tagline, Dr. Dre.
No. Well, I don't know, really. If it was Italian, perhaps.
Italian? Why Italian?
Oh, Italians are as dry as sandman when it comes to senses of humour.
Yeah?
Inspector Montalbano, absolutely wonderful programme.
Yeah. I would have thought that the more sort of Nordic countries, they're not entirely...
You don't get much change when it comes to conversation.
They're certainly not world leaders in comedy, are they? I wouldn't think.
But I still think that their eyes, there's so much warmth in the Scandis' eyes, Justin. They don't have to say a lot because their actions speak for them.
Wow, that's an interesting insight. How do you mean?
What do you mean? How do I mean?
But like what traits give you the impression that they're sort of...
Well, only from what... Yes, I suppose you're going to absolutely shoot this down. Only from watching The Bridge.
The Bridge?
Ed Braun, which is Swedish-Danish co-production that has been copied to shite since.
Yeah.
But when you're watching subtitles...
Aye.
And you're reading subtitles and you're watching the person and their behaviour convinces you of the language. And they just seem to be... I don't know, they just seem to be a lot happier.
Yeah.
They don't see it in black and white, definitely not.
No.
And I bet they don't have issues about pencil cases either. You're going to have to start looking at Swedish and Danish papers so we can pick up on some positivity rather than negativity.
They do have very sort of liberal social structures.
But it certainly seems to work. We never hear anything about their countries.
No. I guess, they're kind of... I guess a lot of Europeans might consider their politics... certain aspects
their
of their
business
politics to be liberal. And business. IKEA.
He died recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Genius.
It was a good programme. It was a good 3-part programme.
Yeah.
On IKEA.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have to put it together yourself? Hey!
You did. Yeah. It's really difficult. I've only seen one episode.
And it was missing the auto cue.
It was missing the sound.
Yeah, IKEA, your show's missing the sound. You should have just called them and said that because they would have been like, what?
What are you talking about?
No, I've never been to any Scandinavian countries, but I am dying to go.
Yes.
Be beautiful places. But if we're talking sort of more socialist leaning, well, I probably shouldn't say socialist leaning, but free, liberal, or more open societies, Finland, who have got the best rated education systems in the world.
Pencil cases?
Whatever you fucking want.
Right.
They don't have standardised testing, they don't have homework, and the testing for their schools is through the fucking roof.
How do they do it, Justin? Are the children interested?
The children...
Are the parents interested?
Yeah. I mean,
exactly. A society where people are interested and care.
But see, this is the thing, and actually, well, I'll get into that after this, but with no homework, if I was a student, if I had gone back in time and the high school said there's no homework, that would have been enough for me to probably perform at school, at least, I'd say 15% better than what I did.
Yeah, but you'd have to make the school day longer to accommodate more learning whilst at school. But it makes sense to learn more whilst you're at school than being charged with doing something when you're at home.
No, well, see, the emphasis they put on the decision to come to no homework was when children go home, they're children, they should do what children do. It's like go out and play. Like these actions are, they want this. It's like children are creative. They love the outdoors. It's genius. But when
honestly, just it isn't genius, mate. It's how this country was, let's say, 40 years ago, where children were children.
What are they now?
Children are just an aberration of the parents. The parents are passing so much negativity onto the children. The children have no life anymore.
Yeah.
But there is so much negativity to go around. There's plenty.
There is, yeah. I mean, imagine trying to talk to your kids about Brexit.
No, Justin, you wouldn't speak to your kids. They probably know more than you did.
Yeah, they probably would. Yeah.
As I said to you many, many, many times, Justin, if it wasn't there'd be no news if the politicians were not allowed
Yeah.
on television.
Yeah, what would be news here, especially? What would be news? America, yeah, probably. You just get everything about like Trump and
You just get
which we do now anyway.
Yeah, we do now anyway. Absolutely, just. But I think we should. It'd be lovely to go to Denmark or Sweden.
Oh, it'd be sweet. We should do a podcast live from Denmark. Well, it won't be live. It'll be pre-recorded, but have a couple of steins, couple of what's the national dish in Denmark?
No idea. Bacon.
Bacon, isn't it?
Yeah, and you'd like a bacon butty.
I might only on a Saturday. I might have some fakin if they've got any.
No, they don't know. No, but I think that's a swear word in Denmark.
Fakin, yeah. It's like in Austria, you can't bring up Nazism. It's against the law to talk about Nazism, right? So I hear that it's the same in Denmark. If you talk about fakin,
you're out of there, man.
A month in prison.
Fancy not being able to speak about something that happened.
Yeah.
The censorship involved. I understand the censorship, but by not speaking about it, there'd be undergrounds that speak about it quite openly.
Well, it's like prohibition in the United States. Never was more alcohol consumed in the history of the US than during the prohibition years.
Because they weren't allowed to.
Exactly. So you can't talk about bacon in Denmark, but I hear there's like poetry slams where you have to use the word bacon every fifth word.
It could be quite interesting. Bacon.
How now, brown bacon?
That was the fourth word.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could wrap it up.
We've got places to go, mate.
We've got places to go. What's the time? 5:45.
We've got to be at Matt's for 6:30.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, don't tell the authorities, man. Now they're going to know where we are. If they're listening to this, it's already happened.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so we're seeing the Lovely Eggs tonight at the Brewery Arts in Kendal. I've never heard their music, so I'm quite excited. The anticipation's high. I hope it's a good gig.
Well, that's all right. I wouldn't want to go to a bad gig, but I've been to a few.
We've been to a few.
Anti-establishment group. They've been going for quite a while now, husband and wife.
Yeah.
Just had a young child not so long ago. But a favourite of Six Music, which is the only music channel worth listening to nowadays.
Yes, it is. And you're out of luck if you don't have a digital radio.
Listen to it through your television.
Yeah.
But you haven't got a TV, have you?
No. I've got a computer, though.
You have?
Which means I essentially rule
you're not
the
allowed
world.
to. You're not allowed to look at anything on BBC without paying for a licence. Don't start breaking the law.
Yeah, that's true. So I'll edit that bit out.
Good.
All right, folks, well, that's it for another World News Breakdown with Steve-O and Redvers. Till next time.
Till next time.
Au revoir. And that's it, folks. That's another episode down the bloody hatch. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as old Steve-O and I enjoyed making it. We do really have a good time when we get together. I don't know if we'll ever be known as sort of, genius orators of our time. The intention for this podcast is to, at least it's mine, to just send out some little positive vibes out into the universe. Please do subscribe. It's very helpful for every single download that occurs, because hopefully one day the goal is to, I've got a goal to get every single episode that I put out. My goal at the moment is to try and get 1,000 downloads, and I'm not near 1,000 downloads yet, but that's the goal. And then beyond that goal, I'd like to say, reach 5,000, 10,000. I really do have so much fun making this podcast. It's been such a fascinating process, and I have no sort of qualms about giving sort of or expressing myself in this way. I'm not afraid of critical comments or anything like that. I couldn't give a shit. I'm making this, I'm enjoying it, and I want this to be as positive as possible, because I think the world needs more of that. It doesn't need any more negativity, because we're just surrounded by it. Anyway, folks, go out, love somebody, legally, for God's sake. Don't do anything stupid. Don't try and kiss anyone inappropriately at work. Tell people you love them. Tell your parents you love them. Tell your brothers, your sisters. Whatever, man. Just go out there and be good people. and I'll catch you next episode. Peace.